Welcome to Gemini Explore. In this video, we will show how Graph can help filter down on MLB players based on performance in different game conditions. Notice here, there are many publicly available statistics that can also be separated with different game scenarios. In normal circumstances, switching over from tab to tab may be time consuming, and it will be difficult to keep track of any patterns. After exporting each data sheet from different tabs, Gemini Explorer allows us to investigate all this data in one canvas view. For my investigation, let's say I'm interested in building a daily fantasy lineup for tonight's game, but I want to find high value players that are less known to minimize the use of my salary. First off, I'm going to load the game conditions and then filter down based on tonight's game. I will specifically be looking at the Anaheim Angels batters versus the Yankees in tonight's matchup as my example today. The conditions for the Angels hitters will be a home game played at night against a left-handed pitcher. After isolating the conditions, I can then expand outward to add the position players. Conditional formatting has been applied to player nodes based on the amount of home runs hit in a certain condition, and also on the relationship line based on their batting average. These numbers can be viewed on the right side on the profiler panel. Arguably, the four most important categories in fantasy baseball are average, home runs, RBIs, and runs. We will first look to filter down based on average. On these game conditions, I will not be wanting to bet on any players that are batting less than the average of 200. Here we see many player nodes attached to the less than 200 average node. To filter, we can select all nearest neighbor nodes and then select the option to clear. For the best lineup, I may want to consider also doing this for the average range between 200 and 250, as it still seems pretty low. Players with red X icons will also need to be cleared, as it has been applied to all players currently injured. To simplify my graph view of players, I chose to group the game condition nodes into one group node. Now that I have a condensed list of players, I can add another batting category, such as home runs. What I find is that players with the highest home run totals are all within the 250 to 300 batting range. However, the player Mickey Moniak has a decent home run number with also a high batting average, which could be a good consideration to adding to my daily fantasy lineup. A player like Moniak will be considerably cheaper to add than big names such as Shohei Ohtani, leaving me more room to invest in other positions. You may have noticed on the screen of duplicate names. This is because we have applied uniqueness on both player name and game condition. This means that these players excel in multiple game conditions. Selecting multiple nodes of duplicate player names will enable property summaries on the profiler panel, where we can average out on batting categories to set an overall summary of the player's performance. As another example, I can average out the category home runs per at-bat and see that Ohtani has almost a 10% chance of hitting a home run every at-bat he takes, which is extraordinarily high in baseball. The property home runs per at-bats was a virtual property created under Node Customizations. Notice here under Virtual Properties tab, we can set properties 1 with the operand divide and the property 2 being at-bats. This created property will be applied to all nodes under that category. An analysis can also be done to the opposing pitcher. In this next example, we will show the opposing pitcher, Carlos Rodon, in a situational analysis. For tonight's game, we see that Carlos Rodon will be starting against the Anaheim Angels. After adding each pitching situation, such as facing a left or right-handed batter, in different counts during an at-bat, we can also add batting averages against him. Here we can see that the best averages against Carlos Rodon are these counts here. Two of these situations show of counts that are early on in an at-bat. This could also persuade us to look for generally aggressive hitters that prefer to swing early on in at-bats. Here we can see that players in a 1-0 count against Carlos Rodon have a total of a 340 average against him. For a grand summary, you can open this all in a dashboard view. In this mode, you will be able to add different widgets and customize them based on any node properties. Here we can see that we've added a pie chart, scatter plot, and bar chart that display different batting numbers based on different pitching situations. Generating a report from a saved graph has also been accelerated with the help from AI. From this analysis from Carlos Rodon, we can simply select the Generate Story mode in the drop-down to automatically generate a report to your graph findings. This can be useful for collaborating with other team members, even for those unfamiliar with graph or the use case. Thanks for watching.